You ever wondered what it would be like to go from being a billionaire with $42 billion in the bank to claiming you have nothing left to your name? Well, that's exactly what happened to Indian business tycoon Anil Ambani in one of the most staggering rags to riches to rags stories ever. What could possibly cause such an epic fall from grace? Stick around as we dive into the crazy true story of how one man went from billions to completely broke. But to understand his downfall, we need to go way back to the mid-20th century in India. Anil was born in 1959 in Mumbai to Dhirubhai Ambani, the founder of the massively successful Reliance company. Dhirubhai had humble beginnings himself, starting as a clerk before founding his own business trading spices and textiles. Through hard work and determination, Reliance grew rapidly into a multi-billion-dollar empire. In the early days though, the Ambanis lived in a modest two-bedroom apartment. But Dhirubhai was keen to instill a strong work ethic in his sons Anil and his elder brother Meeksh. He'd take them on challenging treks, rewarding them with mangoes to show that hard work pays off. Little did they know just how crucial that lesson would prove to be later on. The Ambani brothers' early roles at Reliance. By their mid-20s, there was no question that Anil and Meeksh would join the family business. In 1981, the more reserved Meeksh came on board as a facilities manager, while the more extravagant playboy Anil joined in 1983 as an executive dealing with investors and the press. Their contrasting personalities extended beyond just their roles. Meeksh shied away from the limelight, while Anil embraced it, even having a romance with a Bollywood actress that his family initially objected to. These differences foreshadowed the massive rift that would emerge between the brothers just a couple of decades later. But in the early years, Reliance was soaring under their joint efforts, growing into a $15 billion conglomerate by 2002. Tragedy struck that year though when their father Dhirubhai passed away unexpectedly. The Ambani Civil War. With no will left behind, Indian laws meant the brothers had to split Reliance's assets between them. Meeksh took control of the already established companies like the core Reliance Industries business. Meanwhile, Anil opted for the newer, flashier ventures like Reliance Communications and Reliance Power that promised big growth potential. This split seemed like a good solution initially, with agreements in place so the brothers wouldn't directly compete against each other. But their clashing personalities and egos meant the fighting over control only escalated from there. Things got so bad that even the Indian government tried and failed to mediate between the feuding siblings. In the end, it was their mother Kokilaben who finally knocked some sense into them, getting them to agree to go their separate ways in 2005 while still operating under the Reliance umbrella. Meeksh rebranded his side as Reliance Industries Limited, while Anil's became the Reliance Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group. The stage was set for an epic battle to see who could become the most successful. Anil's golden years of riches and glamour. In his first few years flying solo, Anil was absolutely killing it in the telecom sector. His Reliance Communications disrupted the industry with cut-price mobile services and became the biggest operator in India after investing billions into 3G technology. He didn't stop there either, acquiring movie production houses and even securing deals with Hollywood giants like Steven Spielberg's DreamWorks. Anil was living the billionaire's dream to the fullest. His successes peaked in 2008 when he raised $3 billion in under a minute with an IPO for Reliance Power, making Indian stock market history. He finally joined the Forbes Billionaire ranks at number 6 globally with a mind-blowing $42 billion net worth. Though his older brother Meeksh still frustratingly ranked one place above him. With private jets, a luxury yacht, and Bollywood red carpet screenings at his home, Anil had it all. Well, all except the sense to be satisfied with the incredible wealth and status he'd accumulated. His ego and obsession with overtaking Meeksh's success meant Anil took one risky gamble too many: phone problems and spiraling debt. To fund his plans for massive expansion at Reliance Communications, Anil took out huge loans to invest in 3G capabilities and growth. A potential multi-billion-dollar merger with South African mobile company MTN looked like it could provide an easy way out of the mounting debt. But the deal fell through, partly due to issues with that non-compete agreement Anil had made with Meeksh years earlier. From there, things just kept getting worse and worse for Anil's businesses. There were scandals over shady license deals at Reliance Communications. He had to borrow over $1 billion from Chinese banks just to service existing debts. And most damagingly of all, Mukesh new geo-mobile operator utterly decimated Reliance Communications' market share through aggressive price undercutting. Anil's firms hemorrhaged billions upon billions, with once lucrative investments like his movie business now worthless. The lawsuits, bankruptcies, and asset seizures kept on coming. By 2019, Anil's debts had reached $7 billion, and Reliance Communications filed for bankruptcy protection. The fall from grace was complete. Anil's downfall to zero net worth. In an incredible public admission in early 2020, Anil claimed his net worth of $42 billion from his 2008 peak had now dwindled to nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. The man who'd been living the ultimate billionaire's dream for over a decade was now allegedly completely broke and friendless, hounded by creditors around the world. Well, apart from his private jets, luxury properties, multi-million-dollar car collection, and that yacht he claimed technically belonged to a company, not him personally. Despite filing for bankruptcy, Anil somehow managed to cling on to all the lavish trappings of an ultra-wealthy lifestyle that made his zero net worth claims seem highly dubious. There were also accusations that Anil had concealed money in overseas accounts to put it beyond the reach of creditors. When a UK court pushed him to use those non-liquid assets like cars to settle debts, his lawyers simply argued they were held in other people's names to avoid having to sell them off. So while the financial situation was undoubtedly dire, it's abundantly clear Anil wasn't living the life of a penniless pauper either. But his pride had still taken an almighty battering to go from India's sixth richest man to the public humiliation of claiming utter bankruptcy and ruin. He was even temporarily jailed in 2019 over a missed payment, only being bailed out by, you guessed it, his infinitely wealthier brother Mukesh. The diverging paths of the Ambani brothers. While Anil was flamed out in spectacular fashion, Mukesh just continued going from strength to strength as one of the world's most successful businessmen. In 2021 alone, his Reliance Industries was valued at over $200 billion, with Mukesh's personal net worth an astounding $92.7 billion, making him the richest person in Asia. These days, Mukesh spends his riches on insane luxuries like Antilia, the $1 billion, 27-story skyscraper mansion in Mumbai, complete with a 168-car garage and private theater. It's a world away from the two-bedroom apartment his father raised the Ambani family in back in the 1960s. As for Anil, he maintains a much lower profile, working around the clock to try and rescue what's left of his business empire. Rising at 5 a.m., he sticks to a strict diet and exercise regime while putting in 12-hour days at the office. It's an extraordinarily disciplined routine, almost as if he's trying to follow in his father's footsteps of turning rags into riches all over again. While Anil claims the well has run completely dry, the suspicion remains that he's still sitting on a fortune, however diminished it may be now. Lawsuits are still ongoing, but no matter the final amount, it's unlikely he'll ever reach those dizzying peaks of wealth and success again. Besides, many argue that Mukesh's more patient, carefully planned business strategy ultimately outlasted Anil's gung-ho, debt-fueled gambles to get rich quick. Had the brothers put aside their egos and combined their strengths, who knows how successful Reliance could have been. But for all his faults and failures, you can't knock Anil's determination to try and rebuild his life from the bottom up once again. Sure, he'll likely never be a billionaire again, but you've got to admire the grit of a man who lost billions but somehow keeps on grinding every single day. Well, that's all for today. Let us know your thoughts on this crazy story down in the comments below. While you're at it, give this video a like if you want to see more mind-blowing tales of famous business people's wins and losses. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out.